everybody.
What up? What up? What up?
My name is Tim Daniel. His name is Ben Brown. And welcome to tonight's edition of Late Night Reds, part of the Riverfront Podcast Network, brought to you by the wonderful people at Blue Wire. And Ben, first things first, I want to make sure we give a shout out to everyone who was very patient with us for taking last week off. I woke up Sunday and I did not want to move.
Oh, man. It's going around, man. I work in a high school, so as we see the numbers increase as far as just people who are sick and stuff like that, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And, unfortunately for you, it caught up with you on Sunday.
Yeah, so I slept a lot. It was wonderful. So here this week, excited. We had some spring training baseball happen while we were gone, starting yesterday. So we can actually talk about games, not really games that matter, but action on the field. So, man, I tell you, I'm very excited because I have been just dying for baseball at this point. Don't get me wrong. I mean, covering the Cavs has been incredible, and it's been so much fun. And the team's incredibly good, but there's just something about, and I understand Hunter Green's first pitch was a double in the gap. But I was like, man, he looked really good throwing that ball. That was a double in the gap. And just to be able to have the time here, we're finally talking about games that matter. Well, games that are being played. I'm really, really excited. So
yeah, for sure, man. It's always cool when you're when you get the opportunity and they know that thing's just right around the corner, and all the hype that's been going on with Francona and Ellie and Matt McLain and what's it going to look like and who's going to be where. And now we're just sitting there and we're like, all right, it's really it's that time to kind of put these pieces together, everything that we've been talking about, and see where it's going to end up at.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see, the chat is live tonight, and they are having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Pat's in the house. What up, Pat?
What's going on, Pat?
We see Joey Gaditza in Canada.
You're going to say Gaditza in the building?
They beat the U.S. in hockey, and all of a sudden it gets warmer in there. So yeah, we get some interaction with the crowd as well. So this is going to be a lot of fun. So Ben, hey, first time in 2025, we get to bring up the game recap slide.
There it is, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Yesterday, we had a split squad games between for the Reds between going against the Guardians and the Brewers. I actually love that Terry Francona went to the traveling game and went to play the Brewers instead of staying for the Guardians game and said, I don't want it to be a hug fest. I'm an effing Red. That was awesome. I was fired up.
Yeah.
So yesterday, 6-3 win. Yes, like we joked to start the show, Hunter Green does give up a double and a homer in his first inning, but had some strikeouts as well. I mean, that's the second batter he faced. I think it was Carlos Santana. He good morning, good afternoon, good night at him. So I'm going to choose to be optimistic on that, obviously. And also it's the first spring training start. I don't think he's like, dang it, I gave a 2-run homer in spring training. No. But the real story is obviously Ellie De La Cruz, 2 homers yesterday, 1 from each side of the plate. His first at bat, it was like, oh, he's tapped in. His second at bat was like, he came to spring ready to swing that thing. So
no doubt, man. To watch him, it's just a different feel, right? Like when he came up to the plate, it was just something where he just looked different. Like his whole demeanor, the way he attacked pitches. I mean, and it's just his first at bats. I don't want to go crazy, but it's just got a different feel to it. It
does, man. Just something like these conversations we've been hearing with Francona in the offseason, and just about I want to be the best player on the best team and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, all right, cool. So really excited to see that. And the other game, I think the Reds did hold the lead for a while in this one, but they ended up losing 8-7 to the Brewers. Again, don't care about wins and losses in this circumstance, just care about performance. And Gavin Lux had a nice Reds debut. 2 of 3 with 3 ribeye steaks. Playing second base. Not going to read too far into that. We are going to talk second base in our position previews today. What up, Isaac? How are you, buddy? Good to see you back there.
Oh, yeah. He's walking around.
Yeah, and then today they lose to the Giants, but Nick Martinez goes out there and has a really nice 2 innings of play of 3 strikeouts. So, Ben, we have no way, shape, or form to analyze what this means, obviously, but at the end of the day, I got to bring up the score recap sheet with a little highlights. I do not want to get flagged by YouTube, so I will not play the LA home runs, unfortunately, as much as I really want to. But
Right.
we have Reds games.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exciting, man. Like it's awesome to see. It like people don't understand. I guess if you're not in that realm, or you're like if you love a sport and you love a team and you're excited about a team, even when like people are like huge on basketball or they're huge on something else, like it's always good when that sport starts to get rolling. And for us, I mean, it's like Christmas, man. Like you're gearing up, man. Like it's all the excitement, all the anticipation, all the things that we've been talking about with Terry Francona and all the things that are going on, man. It's just so cool. And I'm so ready because it just feels like a new breath of fresh air, man. Like it's so exciting.
Yeah, as Branch said, Soto only homered once yesterday. Just saying.
It was a tank though, dude. It was a
it was
shot.
pretty.
Yeah, he
so
hit a shot.
Jack and I did Riverfront Reds the other day. We kind of did the best prop bets for the season, and we both laughed at Ellie over under home runs was 23.5. Well, his first 2 at bats in spring training, he hit 2, and he plays at Great American Ballpark for 81 games. He's a switch hitter. I would say 23.5 is pretty easy over.
That's what Shaq would call barbecue chicken. Like that's a lock.
Yeah, for sure. So man, and the swing again, I'm sure there was, Tristan McKenzie is just getting his first pitches in competitive games as well. So I don't want to read too far into it, but that swing looked awfully nice on that homer there. So yeah, really excited. I didn't get to see the highlights for the other 2 games. I'll try to see if I can go back and find them. I saw what the Reds posted on social media. But I thought Gavin Lux looked pretty solid there as well. Obviously the numbers look pretty good. And then Nick Martinez today responded really well to finding out the news that he's going to be a starting pitcher for this team. So we got Joey Kaditsa. Ben, you summed up my ultimate sports addiction right there. Reds above all. Yeah, well, in defense, Joey Kaditsa roots for the Utah Jazz. So, you can only go up from there.
I was going to say.
Yeah, man, this is like my time of the year, right? Like the Reds start up, the NBA playoffs are around the corner, and March Madness. Like this is Tim time for sports.
Yeah.
So I feel it. Well, that's some fun news. Let's have a little discussion for a second here before we get to the topic of the show. We got some broadcast information that came out today and came out this week that ESPN and Major League Baseball will be ending their broadcast relationship after the 2025 season. All right, so the conversation is that Rob Manfred said that baseball was not covered enough on ESPN. I want to go ahead and say he's not wrong. And before we get into the discussion of all this, I don't disagree with what he's saying there. For once, I don't disagree with Rob Manfred. Basically said that they walked away from like $550 million. This year, of course, we still have Sunday Night Baseball, and they'll still have the wild cards on ESPN. But from there, it's kind of goes from there. But I can't believe I'm going to do this. And please disagree with me if you do. I'm absolutely okay with it. Major League Baseball has made it really hard with all the deals they have, the streaming deals, to know like who's where, when, what can we do, everything. And what I mean by that is not just, the Reds just are a perfect example of this, right? We went through this whole fiasco. We thought going into January, we're like, oh, it's going to be awesome. We're going to be on MLB. We're going to be the MLB channel app. We're going to just have to pay anything through that, blah, blah, blah. I do appreciate that Bally made it to where if you just want to watch Reds games, you can make that happen for a fee. I think I'm willing to pay that fee realistically. Well, also for the sake of work, I can use this tax write-off.
There you go.
But shout out me. So, but also, dude, it's like, okay, so you're on Fox once a week on occasion. This is Major League Baseball. This is not just a team.
Right.
It's like Saturday afternoon when no one's home and they're running errands for the week. All right, great. okay, well, Friday night we're on Apple TV, like we're at a special game. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, can I just flip that on? No, you got to pay for it.
Yep.
All right. And then we go through this all the time. So Roku's free. Yes, I know the Sunday Roku game, but it's like Sunday at like 11 o'clock. Like,
Yeah.
don't be wrong. That's cool as hell. I would love to go to a Sunday 11 o'clock game because you have like, you're back home at like 2:30.
You got the rest of your day going. Yep.
But also it's like, I don't know. I'm sure everyone in the world can get Roku at this point, but also it's like, okay, where's the game that I want to watch? What time and what do I need for it? And like MLB is like,
yeah, it's for it to be. Here's the thing. Here's my issue with it, and I don't know if people agree with this or not, but for the Major League Baseball to be as big as it is, they don't treat it like it's big,
right?
Like they don't like the NBA. Like you can go on to the NBA app and watch every single game if you want to.
Yes.
Because NBA is like, look, we have an app. We can do all these different things. We can put games on there. You can buy your game. You can buy a league pass. You can do all this stuff. Like for me, like I don't think Major League Baseball treats itself like America's pastime. They don't treat themselves like people want to watch their product. They don't treat themselves like they're a viable entity. So I'm okay with them leaving ESPN. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have any issue with that. But even WWE has a network. Like you know what I mean? Like where you can go and get all their content, watch all their stuff, watch all the PLEs, watch like use your base and your content and your app and all these things that you have at your fingertips and use those. Like I don't understand why there's such an issue. Like you said, you can go watch Roku. That's going to be Roku's feed, but then you got Apple TV. So then I got to pay $19.99 a month for Apple TV. Oh, then I want to watch the Reds. I got to pay $19.99 a month to watch the Reds play. Like why? Like why? Like put all that stuff viable. If you want to bring fans in and you want people to be invested in baseball, you have to make it something that is viable for everybody. So if I'm a Pacer fan and I want to go watch League Pass Pacer games, I can pay my $100 a year and I can watch every Pacer game I want to. I don't have to go to
2K and get it for free. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I'm like, I don't have to go to 6 or 7 different networks or 6 and 7 different apps to be able to watch my team play. Like it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And also, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. I don't want, because we go through this every year. Stop blacking out games. It's stupid.
Dumb. That's the dumbest thing. That is absolutely stupid. You want baseball to grow, but you're going to black out a game because it's in a wrong market. That's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
I don't get that. People are talking about baseball being something that's not on the up and up and that it needs to gain more interest. It needs to get more people to watch. Why wouldn't you want to have the opportunity to watch the teams you want to watch and not black them out? That's crazy. If it's on a national game and my team's playing on a national TV, why black it out? That's
well, national TV is normally not, but like if you're like,
but like you're local, if you're there and it's yeah. But I'm like, it's just crazy to me. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, especially because I think baseball's done a really good job this year, particularly of marketing like Ellie and like schemes and guys like that. But 95% of the time, they don't do that very well.
No.
I mean, like, I'm not saying Mike Trout can walk down the street and no one will know who he is by any means. But if Mike Trout, Patrick Mahomes, and LeBron James all walk down the street, and people are going to be like, oh, hey, LeBron. Oh, hey, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, hey, Mike Trout. And maybe I'm wrong there. Maybe someone thinks I'm an idiot by saying that. I'm just speaking out my ear. But also, like, what my point is that, it's kind of frustrating. And Josh said there, and Pat said it as well. I agree with you guys. I think the Apple TV broadcast is fantastic. If the Reds went to a point where I love the fact that when they are on the Apple game on Friday nights, I can watch the game on Apple TV and it'll let me listen to the Reds radio broadcast. So I can listen to Tommy and Cowboy do the game. I think that's an unbelievable feature that everyone should have. I don't do it except for John Sadek. I got to make sure I get my John. And then also, I do want to make mention that MLB FanDuel Sports has made the deal where they're going to be part of Amazon Prime now. I don't have the full details. I don't know if that means we got to pay an extra. I don't have Amazon Prime.
I do not either.
So I don't know if that means you have to pay an extra fee to watch the MLB on there. I hope not, but that's the way everything's going nowadays. So I wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, man, it's just that, again, don't mind them leaving ESPN at all, because ESPN really has, since the Baseball Tonight days have ended, which was, don't you miss like
absolutely,
yeah, Carl Ravitch and Buster Olney and Tim Kirkjian, like it was the best,
dude. Just guys giving you great baseball. Now, I will say this: a lot of the stuff on the MLB Network is phenomenal, and they've done a really good job. But of course, ESPN as an entity is just, it's a conglomerate, right? Like, it's huge.
Yeah.
But yeah, the things they were able to do with Baseball Tonight was be able to bring in people who were like laissez-faire fans, but they made them like true fans of baseball, because then it would just catch everybody. But I think the NBA is running into the same issue. Like you said, you brought up a good point with like Mike Trout. Now, MLB is trying to manage and do Ellie and Skeens and some of these young stars. So they're trying to do that. Now, I'll say this, and I think this is where the NBA is lacking. Like MLB is trying to move that way, but you see with the NBA, like NBA is trying to gather stars and get stars to pump up the game, because that old kind of group is going out. Your LeBrons, your KDs, your Stephs, those guys are coming out. So they're trying to do that. So I will have to give props to the Major League Baseball for at least recognizing that they have some really good young stars that they need to market. But they've got to get this TV stuff together, man, because, if it starts to become harder and harder to be able to watch games, it's only going to negatively affect your market.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we get to our second base breakdown, I just have to make sure I make mention of Carrie's comment here, because it makes me laugh. Carrie, Ben and I are the ones who are dads here, so we're the ones that get to make dad jokes. So how dare you take this hilarious from me, because this is so funny. She says, "Did you hear Reese Hines got a new number 57?" Which is legit true. Reese will have to catch up on his home runs to get an endorsement. I like it. Especially now, because that godforsaken city that has that godforsaken football team does not have their stadium rights named after Hines. So we're cool again. I can eat Heinz condiments again. But yes, when John Sadik says 57 just crushed a tomato, it's going to be perfect, and I can't wait for it. All right, Ben. So as you know, as we've been doing this with the episodes when we've been on through the off season, getting ready for this year to start. I timed it out yesterday, by the way, as long as we don't have another like sickness come by, we will literally hit every position before the opening day. We'll hit last outfit.
Nice.
Position. So awesome. Shout out me for doing that.
Awesome. Good timing.
So today is second base, and normally on the title I put like discussing the Reds second base options for 2025. We don't have to do that today. We know who it is.
Yep.
It's Matt McLain. I don't think we're breaking any news here, people.
No.
But so obviously when we do these, we kind of show what Fangraph shows for the projected options of guys who will play second base. Matt McLain, obviously 511 plate appearances is projection from Fangraphs, and I think everyone else is under 200 combined. That includes Gavin Lux getting 147 of them. So yes, there will be days probably that Matt McLain doesn't play every day, obviously. But that's kind of how the layout goes. Gavin Lux obviously brought in because he can play multiple positions. So let's get to that. So Ben, instead of doing this whole, I could see it being this guy. Like, it's not as big of a mess as first bases. We just know one thing for sure. Number 9 is back in Cincinnati, and we missed him so much last year. And 2023 was so awesome. And we feel I'm having a hard time not being really excited about Matt McLain this year, Ben, because Arizona Fall League looked really promising from his recovery from his injury. Everything we saw there, I hated that he played center field. So there was that. I freaking loved. Let me just hold on. I'm going to single myself here, guys. You ready for this? Okay. I absolutely loved Terry Francona coming out and saying, like, there's no madness to this. There's no mess. Matt McLain's our second baseman. So I just want to make sure I got that out there. I thought that was really important. So Ben, I will bring you back to the conversation to ask, because Fangraphs is a little lower on McLain this year compared to his rookie year. And I get it. Had an injury, didn't play at all last year. more film on him, so people have had more time to make adjustments in their game plan to him. But I'm not listening to that mess.
No.
When I ask you, do you think Matt McLain's going to get back to 2023? Instead of asking you, do you think, I'm going to say, why do you believe Matt McLain will be in 2025 will be his 2023 self again? Because I surely do.
Yeah, I think he's. I think the biggest thing about Matt McLain, and why he'll be back to 2023 self, is I think he's just a baseball player. You know what I mean? Like he's a guy that's going to work hard at it. He's going to attack every at bat. He's going to attack every pitcher. He's going to do his homework. You could see that in his 2023 season. Like in your rookie year, it's really hard to play as well as he did on that stage, on that team that was as hot as it was. And you go in and day out and be able to produce. So there's nothing about who he is and what he is as a baseball player that tells me that that's going to be any different from when it is now. So in 2023, come up as a rookie, there's all this pressure, there's all this stuff, there's everything going on. It's him and Ellie and this, that, and the other, and this is our future. And he came out and he just freaking raked baseballs.
Day one,
Day one, absolutely raked. So I just don't think that you lose that, no matter how much study or film or whatever pitchers are trying to do. You don't lose the ability, that kind of ability to be that kind of hitter from 1 year to the next. Now, granted, he did have an injury. We all know about that. But I just think that he is such a really good baseball player that none of that stuff is going to matter. I think that his preparation, his strength, he's had time to fully heal. And I think that he is going to be just as good, if not better, than 2023.
I 1,000% agree. Now, I know I really shouldn't promote other Reds podcasts out there, but the guys over at Locked On, they're our boys. We love those dudes. They look out for us. We look out for them. We're homies.
Yep.
And they just talked about Matt McLain, I think last week, and talked about not only is he going to be back to what he was in 23, this is breakout season for Matt McLain.
Okay.
This is okay. Yeah, we didn't have him for a year, but you're going to see what was missing from 2024 Cincinnati Reds very quickly when number 9's back on the field. And I 1,000% agree. And you mentioned everything. So let me go and bring this up real quick. There's some things here and from this Baseball Savant page that really jumped out to me that I wanted to make sure I mentioned real fast so I can get this a little bit more visible. First off, as you can see, folks, there's a lot of red on this here Baseball Savant page, and red is good here. So sweet spot was in the 94th percentile, batting run value, the 86th percentile, chase, the 72th percentile. Ben, check this out. He was in the 78th percentile in fielding range. He was amongst the elites of the elites. Sprint speed, he was in the 90 percentile. So yes, we all know that Ellie De La Cruz is extremely fast. So is Matt McLain. He's just not as fast as Ellie De La Cruz, but who is, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the double play duo. They are back together. We know they're besties. And so, as you know, playing sports, when you get to play next to your homie, when you get to play next to your best friend, it's just different. It's just different.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that there's I think there is a special chemistry between those two. And when you have that, it's going to make everybody better. And here's the thing, and you know this about sports. The chemistry of a team and the makeup of a team is so important. So when you lose a guy as good as Matt McLain, no matter what's going on, it throws things off. It throws things into a little bit of disarray. So you're bringing that back to your lineup. You're bringing that back to your clubhouse. You're bringing that back to your roster. And those guys get to gel together and be together. And it just all makes sense. So it's cool to see that. All the baseball stuff is great. All that stuff that he can do, his ability, all the things like that are all great. But it's the chemistry between them two that's going to make everything kind of special.
Look at this. This is nice. Aw. I'm Ellie, obviously, right?
Oh, absolutely. 1,000%.
Okay.
1,000%.
Yeah. Because I have dreads. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Carlos. It's good to see you, buddy.
Oh, that's a
Carrie.
good one, Carrie. Concepcion. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely. I would love it.
Yeah. Who wouldn't?
I would love it.
Who wouldn't? So you're 1,000% right, man. There's just something about, and like we said, like he was that 2023 run when they made that great run. They were so close to making the playoffs.
Yep.
He was the best player.
Yep.
I mean, Ellie like really struggled a lot in that time. He came out like a bat out of hell, but when people were like, "Oh, don't throw him fastballs." Matt McLain, they're like, "Oh, well, don't throw him fastballs." And he was like, "Okay." He's got that short, compact swing that just covers the strike zone, hits the sweet spot. This is going like I'm having a really difficult time not getting fired up about 2025 for Matt McLain.
Yeah, I don't understand like people that I guess I don't understand why people don't think that he would have such a good year when he hasn't proven anything less.
Word.
You know what I mean? So I just think that he is just a really good baseball player. And I think the two of them hopefully have years and years of this kind of just production and being able to play next to one another.
Yeah, for sure. So this is what Fangraphs has for McLain. Let me pull this up real fast, just so people can kind of get an idea. Basically, the closest thing we're seeing is Steamer has his OPS as the only one above 800. Ben, his rookie year, his OPS was 840.
I was going to say, I thought it was like high.
Yeah, so like I understand again, and Carlos can probably speak to this better than we can from the fact that he played in the bigs and he was a major leaguer. It's probably really hard to get back to seeing the best people in the world after an injury. I understand that. But 50 points worse than his OPS. Like I could totally see April and May taking a little bit to get comfortable again. And then June just skyrocketing. I could see that being a possibility. I don't want to say to discount that as something that could happen, but at that same point, would it shock you if he just came out and was, National League Player of the Month in April and, had a great summer? Like, no, I don't think that when we get to dog days that we're like, oh man, Matt McLain just hasn't found it yet.
Yeah. No, I just find it hard that for a guy that's had that much success as a rookie to struggle that mightily would be a shocker to me. Now, I think you bring up a really good point. I mean, you could see where if he struggles in April, has a little struggle in April, May, or it's taking him a minute to get back to where he is. I just don't see a 3, 4, 5 month stretch of him batting 250. I just don't.
I don't either.
I just don't see that. I don't see that happening for him. So, will he have some struggles? I would assume, yeah, it'll take him a little bit, but I just don't see that lasting very long. And I don't see him being worse than 2023.
Yeah. So, Pat, McLain is one of the few guys on the scene that could push it from solid to potential playoff contender. 100%. I thought that was the biggest thing they were missing last year was him. Kerry, if Matty gets enough games a second, he could be an all-star. 100%. And this is probably really easy because of the fact of the position and the size. But obviously who the manager is now. He's not the power hitter that Pedroia was. By any means. He's faster than Pedroia. He might be a better glove than Pedroia. But it's hard to not be excited the fact that Tito's bringing Dustin Pedroia to go hang out with him.
Oh, yeah.
Free trading. You know what I mean? It's something that makes you feel pretty good. I mean, it's a former American League MVP. So,
well, think about this. You've got Pedroia hanging out. You got Barry Larkin hanging out. You got Eric Davis hanging out. You have all these guys that are going to be around this team. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen in every major league club or whatever who have their, have former players, former all-stars hanging out. But it's pretty cool to see this is where we're at. And I know Barry has been there before, and I know that Eric Davis has been there before, but there's other guys that are coming in and working with our guys, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. That's the beauty of having Terry Francona coming to town. But yeah, so I guess real quick, just to make sure we do touch on it. Other second base options, Joey Gaditz asked the question we'll get to here in a second. I think the two are probably Santiago Espinal and Gavin Lux, which makes a lot of sense. Espinal was really good in
Yes,
August,
he
September
was.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
Lux obviously had an ACL injury with the Dodgers, and then got really hot after the All-Star break and carried it through the postseason. And so, obviously won a World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So Joey asks, where do you think Lux will play the most? And I realistically think it's third base.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that when we're here in a couple of weeks. Because spoiler alert, next week we're talking about Ellie and shortstop. So bring your hottest Ellie takes. We want them all. We want them all. So this is going to kind of be the best situation here. This is a good question, Harry. Who should follow Matt to give him the best at bats? Ooh, I've seen the projected lineups, and I've seen him penciled into the leadoff position a lot with Ellie hitting second.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. I think that gives you a really good chance to win on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
But I guess you would probably go. I talked about this with Steve the other day when I was on Locked On. I guess your best situation is probably, and anyone who's in the chat who has an opinion on this, please let me know if they think I'm way off. I'm completely open to all conversation. McLain, Ellie Stevenson, Lux. Is that awful? I don't think that's bad necessarily.
That's not bad.
There's probably someone on the top of my head I can't think of because we're in the middle of a show. But Steer, I guess you could go McLain, Ellie Stevenson, Steer. Ellie is your switch hitter. He's like kind of can play lefties in their situation, but the outfield's still really bad, and so you're probably gonna see those guys a little lower in the order. Hopefully, I think Francona's pretty well aware of that. Yeah, Pat says maybe Hayes. That's definitely a guy who could be up there for sure. And then whoever's DHing, so they're pretty versatile. CES is one for sure as well. Carey, I like TJ at the bottom to restart a second leadoff. I like that too.
Yeah.
I think that even though we're saying all these things about McLain coming back from injury, Friedel's coming back from a year where he was hurt a lot last year, and I very much worried that 2023 was TJ Friedel, and that was the best it's going to get.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. Very easy guy to root for. Plays his ass off. But there's a lot of worries I have that was it. And it's never gonna be the same.
Yeah, my biggest fear is that I just don't know if he can stay healthy. I mean, that's my. I think I think the world of him as a baseball player. I really do. I mean, I like him. My fear is that you can't turn that off. He is a all out dive in, which I love him for.
Yeah,
but it's not good for longevity. You know what I'm saying? So
he's like a really good Ryan Friel, and Ryan Friel was good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah. Carlos right here. Hayes is such a wild card that nobody's talking about. If he gets back to 23, watch out. He was an all-star in 23.
Yeah.
I
think both. I think Hayes and Lux are both like that. I think they're both. If Lux gets hot or he hits the ball as well as he did at the end of last year, and Hayes gets back to 2023, I mean, and Matt McLain is 2023. I mean, we've got a pretty good. That's a pretty good lineup. That's a pretty good lineup.
Tyler Stevenson does what he did last year.
Yep, and Ellie's going to improve.
Yeah, I know we're getting to that next week.
All right,
but I have a hard time not feeling like Ellie De La Cruz is going to be in the National League MVP conversation. I can't imagine he's not going to be. So yeah, I think we did the thing the other day. Matt McLain was actually on the MVP betting odds. He was in books at plus 1,200. I was like, okay, I don't think I don't think he's going to win MVP, but I do think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. So hardware wise, you think he's the next Reds Gold Glove second baseman?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good history.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, I think that he's good enough with the gloves to be able to do that for sure.
Yeah. Kerry brings up Marte not looking good at all so far. It's 2 games, but I have so much worry about Noelvi Marte. And the way Francona's talking in these interviews, it doesn't sound like he's really game planning for him to be on the major league roster to start the year.
Yeah. I don't think that I don't think that he's going to be a guy that we're going to rely on. And from what I'm hearing, I think that he's already got plans for him to be down AAA probably.
Yeah, that Louisville team might be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Him, Arroyo, be pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, outfield's going to be, man, a lot of questions there.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about that a lot. Like, I mean, it's
all season.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really
and all of last season.
Yeah, there haven't really been like this, like, I don't know. Nothing's really wowed us, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, but like Carlos said, if Austin Hayes catches up to like who he was 2 years ago.
Yep.
Then
and I'd tell you what, if Friedel stays healthy, he'll be good enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
it's just him staying healthy.
Yeah, his healthy year. I mean, like 23, he hit lefties and righties well. I mean, obviously you go into account that they have a better manager.
Mm-hmm.
Their bench is probably a little better.
Yep.
I think 79.5 wins is silly. That's FanDuel just asking you.
Oh bet. They want you to bet that.
Yeah.
They're calling your name.
Yeah. Josh, I think this is a great point. Marte's time hasn't officially started yet. Keep him in the minors at least to start the year. 1,000% agree.
Yeah.
1,000% agree. All right. So, Ben, before we get out of here tonight.
Yes, sir.
Give me your boldest Matt McLain prediction for 2025, because obviously, I don't know if people can tell, we're really excited about him.
My boldest Matt McLain. I'm gonna say, if he's the leadoff hitter, he will lead the league in he'll lead the league and lead off home runs.
Ooh, I like this.
That's my bold prediction.
You just gotta be fired up, man. I was gonna say he's gonna lead all second base and extra base hits, but that's even better.
I like that too.
Yeah,
I like that too.
Yeah.
I think he's just got not surprising pop, but for a leadoff hitter, he's got pop.
He does. It's not Ricky leadoff pop by any
means. Yeah. I mean, Ricky's a goat of leadoff hitters. I mean,
he would tell you that too. God rest his soul.
I mean, pop the collar for Rick. You know what I mean,
buddy? There's very few athletes like celebrity deaths that really hurt me. That one bummed me out.
Yeah,
so bad.
Yeah, and it's so cool because you get to hear like people telling Ricky Henderson stories,
which are the greatest stories of any athlete.
Dude. Like the Harold Reynolds story about him the stolen bases.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, did you hear that one?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh dude, Ricky had 50 at the break. Always talk to himself in third person. I love it.
You know the Mets story, right? When the Mets gave him $1 million check and he was like,
yes.
That's the best too. Oh man, that could be a podcast right there. All right. So Carrie says her bold prediction is Maddie has a 2020 year, 20 homers, 20 stolen bases. I think that's in play for sure.
Yeah.
And then some. Pat Magooch, 130 OPS plus, 20 homers, 30 steals, 140 games. Bring it to me.
Oh man.
Bring it to me. 4 WAR season. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So what we're saying, Fangraphs, is you're going to look silly at the end of the year.
Yeah.
When Matt McLain
absolutely.
is Matt McLain. All right, man. Well, hey, next week I am in Cleveland. My goal is to bring my equipment with me to see if I can be back in time from the Cavs game to do the show. I'm hoping to do just that, but if not, we'll find someone to back up because I do want to be here. I do want to be here to talk all about Ellie De La Cruz and just be really excited about it. If I'm not here next week, change the plans. We're not talking Ellie De La Cruz next week. We'll do it when I'm back, and we'll do something else next week. But we will figure out one way or another. But hey, this was so much fun, guys. Thank you so much. I know it's a little bit shorter episode, but we are watching games again. We're talking baseball action on the field. I know Carlos is sitting in his garage with all his TVs on, watching baseball games, living his best life, grilling out in beautiful Texas. So I can't wait to get those text messages through the year from him as well. But hey, guys, this was fun. Thank you so much. Please keep an eye on everything going on with the Riverfront right now. Welcome to the Jungle. We'll be back this week. I think we're finally gonna be starting talking about a little draft stuff here. Bengals picking in the middle of the first round, and there's a lot of promising defensive linemen that look like they're going to be available in the middle of first round this draft. We're going to talk about.
I've noticed. I was going to say I've noticed that the Bengals have started to excavate their defensive tackles, so they're going to need to make some moves and get some guys in there that can play DT.
Yes, absolutely. So we will make sure we touch on that and then some as well. But on behalf of Ben Brown, this is Tim Daniel. Everyone, thank you so much. Be sure to get back, check on all the things we're doing this week, including Riverfront Red Show this week as well. We are doing the thing. We're so excited to be talking baseball games again. Have a good night. We'll see you all soon.